Wetlands are the most biologically diverse of all ecosystems, serving as home to a wide range of plants and animals. These are land areas saturated with water seasonally or permanently, making them unique. The animals and plants that are found in wetlands are specially adapted, and some are not found in other ecosystems. Wetlands, such as swamps and marshes, play a number of important roles that affect other ecosystems. They help purify water, recharge groundwater, stabilize shorelines, and control floods. Wetlands also act as sinks for greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, especially if their vegetation is preserved. Yala Swamp, located in the western part of Kenya, is the country's largest freshwater wetland, covering 20,500 hectares and stretching across Siaya and Busia counties. The vast Yala Swamp covers the northeastern shore of Lake Victoria, and it has 3 lakes within its boundaries: Lake Kanyaboli, Lake Nyamboyo, and Lake Sare. The swamp is home to the critically endangered fish species Singidia tilapia, Oreochromis esculentus, and Victoria tilapia, Oreochromis variabilis, that have disappeared from Lake Victoria itself. As a whole, the swamp provides significant economic, social, and cultural benefits.
Hii swamp zamani, papyrus watu walikuwa wanatumia kujenga nyumba zamani. Papyrus watu walikuwa wanatumia kutengeneza mats hizi za kulala. Papyrus watu walikuwa wanatumia kutengeneza kamba, hata kamba za ng'ombe.
Yala Swamp is one of Kenya's important bird areas. It is home to birds found only in the papyrus swamp habitat. The brilliant red and yellow papyrus gonolek, the shy papyrus canary, the white-winged warbler, and the globally threatened papyrus yellow warbler. Yala Swamp is a source of water for irrigation, livestock, and domestic consumption. The local people make many products from the readily available papyrus, both for sale and domestic use. The swamp also provides fish, which is a favorite food near the lake. But this precious gem is under threat.
Yala Swamp was one very rich place. Yeah, there was plenty of fish in the waters. There were plenty of wild animals in the swamp. But over time, there's been changes. One, we've seen the amount of fish in the water going down over time. And to the point that now, some of the fish that used to be delicacies for our local diet is no longer found in the waters. Some of the plants that inhabited the swamp are no longer found in the swamp. The swamp used to be a settlement. Our families used to live within the swamp. Yeah, but there have been changes. We've seen the water levels rise to the point that some of the homes can no longer be in the swamp. So people have had to move from the swamp to areas where are more suitable.
The increase in the number of people who depend on the swamp for their livelihood has put immense pressure on the swamp. Overfishing has led to depletion of fish stocks, even threatening the extinction of some fish species. After fishing, agriculture is the second most important economic activity.
Yes, habari ya wanakikundi.
Large sections of the swamp papyrus have been cleared to pave way for agricultural land. The removal of swamp vegetation, together with excessive nutrients and pesticides washing down from the farms to the swamp and the lake, greatly affects water quality and functioning of the lake's ecosystem. The over-exploitation of its resources has brought Yala Swamp on the brink of destruction. The negative effects of its destruction would be felt many miles away, while the livelihoods of all those families who depend on the swamp will be destroyed forever.
So you find many families have died when suddenly they wake up in the night and the water is swamping them in their beds. Okay? So we don't know, but we suppose that there's been change, probably climate change, probably the way the water is being used or the land is being used. within the swamp and away from the swamp.
To reverse this trend, Nature Kenya, in collaboration with the Inter-Ministerial Technical Committee, the county governments of Siaya and Busia and local communities, is in the process of securing the sustainable management of the Yala Swamp. With funding from the Darwin Initiative, USAID, MacArthur Foundation and Pathfinder International, a project was started with a broad objective of balancing conservation and development within the swamp.
Nature Kenya today is about saving species, conserving sites and habitats, and promoting ecological sustainability, empowering people for positive change. It is based on these objectives that Nature Kenya packaged a project in the Yala Swamp with a vision to promote sustainable living. The objective is to promote sustainable development, and the Yala initiative is a lesson learned from the Tana Delta, where strategic and environment assessment was done and an informed land use planning. Initiatives which are now award-winning. On the 5th May 2016, the Tana Land Use Plan and the Strategic and Environment Assessment received an award for International Planning Excellence issued by the Royal Town Planning Institute of London.
The joint program seeks to improve water quality, improve the livelihoods of people who depend on the swamp, and secure a habitat for wildlife. To achieve these objectives, Nature Kenya works side by side with its members and partners in several key approaches that will contribute towards sustainable development and conservation of the Yala Swamp. They say that problems cannot be solved with the same level of awareness that created them, and so the first step towards balancing conservation and development was awareness creation. All the stakeholders within the swamp were made aware of the impending danger if systems were not put in place to sustainably use swamp resources. These stakeholders ranged from the county governments of Siaya and Busia counties, farmers, fisherfolk, herders, national government departments, and other organizations with an interest in the Yala Swamp.
Initially, there was a lot of resource conflict. Every actor was trying to protect what is important to them. For the communities, livelihoods are important for them. For the conservationists, the environment is critical for them. For the developers, they are keen on maximizing on investment. So there was a lot of push with every actor trying to protect what is important for them.
With every stakeholder pushing and pulling to achieve their interest with little regard for sustainability, the development of a land use plan was necessary.
We do know that it is a regulation by NEMA that any policy or any plan has to be subjected to a process of strategic environmental assessment. And in this case, the land use plan for the Yala is also a policy document and therefore fits that bill. Strategic environmental assessment, or SEA, is important in the process of preparing the land use plan, in the sense that it looks at all the environmental issues that the land use plan needs to consider in order to come up with a plan or a policy that will lead to sustainable development.
Why we had to get everybody on board, it is because the Yala Swamp is a shared resource, is a national resource, is an international resource, because we have even many species, many types of birds which come to Yala Swamp from other parts of the world. But it is also a shared resource between our generation and the future generation. And so it's really important that everybody comes in and does their part.
Political leaders and government officials and all these stakeholders, what I'm talking about, the executive, the elected leaders, are in support of the plan for Yala Swamp. They support the initiative. We are waiting for the plan to come out so that we see how the plan can guide us. Because all along we were longing to do this. We were unable to do it. When Nature Kenya came with the support to do this, we welcomed it, And we are really waiting for when it will be completed. The sooner the better.
Once we receive the draft land use plans from Nature Kenya, that will be tabled in the assembly, I know it's going to be committed to my committee, and we'll also take it to the public so that it informs the assembly and the executive to develop a policy that will eventually develop a bill and becomes an act of land use in Busia County. We would wish as an assembly that we'll form a joint committee with the Siaya County so that the policy we are going to develop cuts across both two counties to ensure that the plans are guided by law.
When the process is complete, the Yala Swamp land use plan will guide sustainable use of swamp resources. In order to increase the populations of key wildlife species including the Sitatunga antelope and papyrus endemic birds, sensitization was carried out to encourage local people preserve the habitats of these animals. One way of achieving this is allowing the destroyed habitats to regenerate. Through support from Nature Kenya, some farmer groups are helping reclaim wildlife habitats by replanting papyrus where it has completely disappeared. The increase in area under papyrus is increasing breeding grounds for the cichlid fish, which are at risk of extinction. The population of this fish will be monitored around Lake Kanyaboli to gauge the success of conservation efforts. Ulalo Women Group was capacity built through a partnership with Kenya Forest Service. Today, apart from conserving the environment, planting trees is one of their money-making enterprises.
Watu wa nature walitupea mbegu, walitupea makaratasi ya kuweka mchanga, tukaanza kazi na watu wa nature. Tukipanda hii miti, tutapata mandege kutoka mbalimbali yenye ilikuwa imetoroka hii area yetu kwa sababu miti imekatwa yote.
By planting trees near riverbanks, farmers are helping to prevent soil erosion and restore habitats along River Yala and within the swamp. With time, the quality of water flowing from the Yala Delta into Lake Victoria will improve. The result of restored and protected riverbanks is a decrease in pollutant and sediment loads, reaching the swamp and eventually Lake Victoria.
Kwa hii miti vile tunapanda, tuko na wamama wazee. Wakati tunapanda miti, wanakuja tu wanakaa chini, wanaweka mchanga, wanapanda miti. Miti ikishakuwa, wanauza, wanapata pesa. Huyo mama mzee anaweza pata pesa kwa njia rahisi. Na tena kwa sisi, wamama wenye tuko na watoto wenye tunapeleka shule. Hii miti, tukiuza, tunapata pesa ya kupeleka school fees. Na inatusaidia kwa vitu ndogo ndogo ya nyumbani.
Another avenue through which this is being achieved is ecotourism.
In the past, it was about protecting and guarding people from accessing. Today, and the ideas Nature Kenya is promoting, is looking at people as the protectors because they benefit by coming up with community conservation areas which they can protect themselves as they utilize and promote for benefits that are direct and other indirect, like tourism, working with them and the Siaya and Busia county governments to open up the area for tourism. It's beautiful.
The programs which we have had with Nature Kenya, once they bring people together, they educate them, then you see the habit, the culture change. The community change their culture because at first they thought maybe by killing Sitatunga that would be the benefit they would get from the hunting. But then they are now realizing that by conserving and keeping even that animal safe and giving it a good habitat will even generate more for them by bringing over visitors, which will now help them in various ways by them getting where to sell their produce, hotel industry will grow, and so on and so forth. Even tour guides will be engaged.
Among the youth who are benefiting through ecotourism is Ibrahim Onyango.
Nature Kenya helps me a lot to build my capacity, and they empowered me in agritourism and ecotourism as a whole. The challenge is community. We don't have the real boundary for private developer and for the community, and we don't have the boundary where we can conserve wild animals, because here is where we have Sitatunga, which is the symbol of Siaya County.
With increased demand for fish and reducing fish numbers, fish farming is being promoted, and it offers many benefits.
One is you are able to increase fish available for eating. Secondly, the pressure on the natural water body is lessened, and therefore the fish available in the natural water body can therefore survive better and not be pushed to an extent where survival becomes difficult.
After capacity building, some farmers who are trained have become resource persons, teaching fellow farmers important skills in different enterprises.
Jambo la kwanza ni kufanya nini? Ni kumwagilia maji. Na ukisha maliza, unamaliza na kufunga na nini? Na maji. Unatoa namna hii, alafu unaweka tena unaingilia kukata ingine.
Another key resource drawn from the swamp by the local people is fuel wood. To reduce this, the project trained local people on how to make and use energy-saving jikos.
Kitu ambayo nimeona kwa uzuri ambayo nimeona kwa watu wa nature, ile kitu wametuletea. Kitu cha kwanza ni hii jiko. Manake jiko, hata mimi nikisema ukweli, sikupenda kupika na kuni sana. Na pia nilikuwa napika nje. Nafikiria unaona nini, mawe 3 iko hapo nje ambayo nilikuwa napika nayo. Sasa tangu hii niletewe hii jiko, nimefurahi sana kupika na kuni. Kwa sababu kuni yenyewe haiendi. Nikipasua vile hii unaona hapa, kidogo tu. Wakati nilikuwa napika pale nje, nilikuwa naweza kutumia kuni, hata nikienda kutafuta kuni pale msituni. Naja na kichwa kubwa, yani kuni nyingi. Ni siku 2 tu, kwa sababu pale unajua upepo nini huku na huku, mara uingize huku. Sasa inaisha. Sasa tangu niletewe hii, nimependa kupika sana na kuni. Sio kama mbeleni, kwa sababu nikiweka vile saisi unaona vile inawaka. Kupika ni dakika kidogo sana. Na pia moshi sisiki.
The use of papyrus for weaving has been a source of livelihood for many within the Yala Swamp. Weavers were trained on more efficient weaving, which has increased their profits.
Kitambo tulikuwa tunafieka tu papyrus. Unaweza pata tumefieka mahali kubwa sana. Alafu sasa tena ili ikue inabidi inamaliza miezi kama 3-4. Lakini Nature Kenya walipofika wakaona tunafanya hii papyrus harvesting, walionelea kwamba inafaa zaidi ili kizazi ambacho kinakuja nyuma yetu kiweze kuipata, tuweze kuitumia vizuri. Sasa walisema kwamba wanaweza kutuletea walimu. Hao walimu waliweza kutusaidia, tukajua kwamba kuna papyrus zile ambayo tunapaswa kutumia zile shanga. Sasa hizo tulipata kwamba baada ya kuzitoa tu hivi, baada ya wiki 2 unarudi tena unapata ingine tu hapo hapo.
Wakati Nature Kenya ilikuja, ikatuletea mwalimu. Mwalimu alianza kutufundisha, tukajifunza, tukajua. Sasa tunatumia material kidogo, tunatengeneza kitu kidogo lakini bei iko juu. Tunaweza kuuza kama kitu kama hii, tunaweza kuuza 250 ama 500. Sasa tunaona tunafaidika. Hiyo papyrus ni natural resource ambayo inatumika kwa watu ambao wanaishi hapa hivi. Hiyo ndio saa zingine tunaona kama cash crop, kwa sababu hatuna njia nyingine ya kupata pesa ila kutoka kwa papyrus. So ikihifadhiwa itatusaidia na itasaidia vizazi vijavyo, na ikiharibiwa nafikiri hatutakuwa na manufaa.
In the end, it is the attitude of those using swamp resources that matters most.
If we can change the attitude of our people, the result will have the habitat restored. And we'll have, after having the habitat restored, we'll get so many things. We'll get medicine, we'll do what we call ecotourism. We can do other enterprise because when the habitat is restored, there are even mushrooms, which is coming up. We can do beekeeping, and the result at the end of it will raise the standard of living, and at the same time, sustaining environment for our future generation.
We contribute our lessons to others globally, and especially through BirdLife International and engagement in international forums like the United Nations Environment Assembly. We are working towards land use planning, which is an innovation from Tana Delta, being tested in Yala Swamp. We would like it to be taken up globally to inform sustainable development agenda, where private sector and government and the conservationists will be working together. And this is the next step.
Celebrating World Migratory Bird Day forms a good opportunity for Nature Kenya to create awareness and change attitudes about conservation. Educating both the young and old about conservation in such forums will go a long way in securing the long-term future of natural resources in the Yala Swamp.
Oh, the magic papyrus, from you we get comfortable chairs. Oh, the magic papyrus, from you we get comfortable mats. As you sway from east to west, north to south, we enjoy watching you.
These youngsters are continually learning to appreciate the importance of the environment. They will carry the message of balancing development and conservation long into the future. Hopefully, they will also pass the same message to those who will inherit the Yala Swamp after them.